Hey guys, it's your girl Keri, and today I'm going to be sharing an impromptu video on how I prepare to host out-of-town guests. Now I thought this would be an appropriate and relevant video since we are approaching the holiday season and many of us will be hosting out-of-town family members or out-of-town friends. And I wanted to share with you some of the practical tips that I employ when folks are coming over. And I'm not going to go over those tips that many of us have already seen or already probably employ. I'm going to try to share with you some of the things you may not have considered when hosting out-of-town guests. So let's get started. My very first tip when hosting overnight guests in your home is to nix the white towels. Yes, I know many of us are thinking about, hey, I want to make my home feel like a five-star hotel. I want to spoil my guest. And the first thing you think of is pulling out the white towels and the white sheets and things like that. Well, honestly, when you have guests come into your home, you don't want your home to feel like a hotel. You want your guests to feel like they're at home away from home. They want to feel comfortable and welcomed. From a guest's perspective, like when I'm coming to someone's home, I feel a little bit different than when I'm staying in a hotel. So in a hotel, if I have, bright white, towels and bright white sheets, that invokes the thought of cleanliness. You just want to make sure that the hotel is clean. But honestly, when you're washing with, white towels and white washcloths, we all know that you can get a lot of dirt on them. So especially like if you're washing and then you go to dry off, if you rub your skin really hard, a lot of times, your skin exfoliates and you get a lot of dirt and debris all over the towel. If you're washing your face, makeup may get all over the towels, and that's fine at a hotel. You're just going to throw the towels and washcloths on the floor and housekeeping will come pick them up and replace them with new ones. Housekeeping doesn't know who you are, so they're not going to be looking at your dirt or how badly you've soiled those towels. And they have, third-party vendors that wash these towels and washcloths and that can get out any stain. But when you're in someone's home, I feel a little bit bad when, you mess up their white towels or they see how much dirt you've accumulated and put in their laundry rooms. So in order to combat that and make guests feel a little bit more at home, I don't offer white towels. I do have white towels on the ready if that's what they would like, but I offer towels that are of a tannish color. And let me show you how I set up my towel system for overnight guests. So this is what I do. I purchase towels that kind of like have that little white stripe there so you can evoke the feeling of clean, but I get towels that are in like a tan color. And the reason I pick up this tan color is because this is the exact same color as dirt. So if you're wiping off or drying off, more likely than not, the dirt color will blend in with the towel color and you will never notice that. And this is great, especially for men, because sometimes men, don't really wash as good. And I can tell you, men are very, very much so appreciative of having these color towels when they're staying in your home. And ask me how I know. It's because I asked them. We've had a bunch of guys stay over when my husband's friends come by and spend a night with us. They appreciate this. I explained to them why I give these kinds of towels. So here's how I set up my basket that I sit on my guest bedroom bed. I have actually a combination of colors. Now here are the washcloths in the tan color that will not get messed up when you are washing your face and things like that. And so here I have some towels here. They are not bright white, they're kind of like the off-white color. And so this will actually work as well. They won't show dirt as much as a white towel, but you still can see some of the dirt if you do have dirt. But it's a compromise because I will mix them up with the white and the tan, and then your guests can choose. So you have the white here, tan here, white here, and that will just work nicely for your guest. Now at the bottom, I have the huge bath sheet towels. These are the really, really large size towels, and these are great for bigger or larger persons, like if you have someone that's heavy set, or if you have, you know, a male guest staying with you, men prefer the larger bath sheet size towels because that can wrap around them. And also what you want to do after you put all of your towels and washcloths in a basket, and at the bottom of the basket you want to keep an extra set of sheets. And the way I put my sheets together is I take an entire sheet set, you know, a flat sheet, a fitted sheet, a pillowcase, and then I take everything from that set and put it inside the second pillowcase and fold everything up here. So now it's nice and neat. You can just pull it out and put it on the bed. Now the reason I keep a second set of sheets in my you know, little basket for my guests, let's say for example you have an older person staying with you, older relative or just an older person. Sometimes older people have incontinence, they wet the bed or something like that at night, and when they wake up they don't want to bother you. They may be a little bit embarrassed that that had happened, and they don't want to come and say, hey, do you have an extra set of sheets that you know, I can use to change the bed? So leaving that extra set of sheets gives them that independence and that comfort that they can actually change the sheets themselves and not you know, embarrass themselves or feel that they're embarrassing themselves. And that leads me to my next tip. I didn't share it here because I have that stuff going in the washing machine now, but I also make sure that all of my beds are covered with, you know, waterproof covering. And I think I shared in a previous video this past summer when I said entertaining for large crowds, out of town crowds, and I shared with you the types of waterproof bedding and things like that that I get. I would also include in here just a mattress cover that you can remove. I put 2 mattress covers on my beds. The first on the box spring, I put the one that you can encase the entire box spring. You can encase the entire box spring, and that would eliminate anything for like allergens, mites, bed bugs, and things like that. So the box spring in an enclosed waterproof bed cover, and then the regular mattress is also in one of the entire casing covers that can eliminate, you know, the mites, the allergens, and the bed bugs. And then on top of that I put a soft removable one that's kind of like a fitted sheet that you can just pull off and put back on, and that one would just be a waterproof cover. That's what I put on top of everything else, so that when you need to change things out because an accident happened, you just have to take off the fitted sheet and then take off the removable fitted mattress cover. Throw that in the wash and put everything back onto the bed. So that's my tip on how I prepare the linens for my out-of-town guests. Another item that you want to make sure that your guest bedroom is equipped with is a fan. I cannot stress enough the importance of a fan, and preferably you want to get a fan that you can adjust it up and down. I have it kind of wrapped up with the cord, but adjust it up and down because when you're laying in bed you know, want to make sure you can get it on your face or your body. And then you also want to have one that can offer several speeds. And this is important because not every guest is going to you know, have the same temperature as you. So when you set your home's temperature, someone may be hot, especially if you're experiencing hot flashes, or especially if you're a big guy that sweats, like, you know, especially if you're a big guy that sweats. I personally cannot sleep without a fan blowing in my face. I have a fan on my nightstand and I turn it on every single night. So I make sure that the nightstand has a fan on it for those guests that would need it. And also, the same as having a fan, you want to also make sure that you have extra blankets, because again, someone may be too hot, then another person might be too cold. So having a couple of extra blankets at the foot of the bed or somewhere in the room that your guests can grab so that they can, you know, just make themselves comfortable, regulate their temperature for them. Now, another item that you want to make sure that you have on your nightstand for your guest is a box of tissues. So here I have this tissue box holder here. It's really not a tissue box holder. It's something I DIY'd. I just purchased, you know, the square box of tissues from the Dollar Tree or whatever store you would like to, you know, purchase your tissues from. And then I got this, you know, rustic looking vase that's wrapped in birch. And I picked this up from Marshall's, and they're relatively inexpensive, just about $5. And this fits the box of tissues perfectly, and you can just sit that on the nightstand as well. My next tip and next item that I make sure I have in all of my guest bedrooms are garbage cans. Yes. And I typically keep the liners here, and I love these bags here. I get these from the Dollar Tree. They're, you know, thin garbage bag liners, and I get the ones that say kitchen bags, because the ones that are smaller are not large enough to fit in a small garbage can. And I love the vanilla scented ones. I'm going to show you. And I typically just, you know, go ahead and line my bags with these. And another tip you can do, you can just leave the whole roll of bags in the garbage can, so when you switch it out, you have the bag already there to refill, because typically you're not going to have anything wet in your bag in your room. They're very, very thin, kind of like, you know, when you have the house cleaning people come to your home, or at your workplace when the housekeeping comes by and cleans up, they put these, you know, really thin disposable garbage bags in the garbage can. You just, you know, put that in your garbage can and you are good to go. Now, the reason I love these little garbage cans here from the Dollar Tree is because they're slender and slim, and they can just slide right in between, you know, the bed and the nightstand. You have it right there. So anything that you need to throw away, you can just reach down and just throw it right bedside. And you can just put one on each side of the bed, just in case you have a husband and wife couple there. They have a place to put their garbage. Now, if you're want to look at something a little bit more fancy, for example, let's say you had a desk in your guest bedroom and you wanted to put a nicer garbage can in the desk area, or the, you know, places where people will actually see, I would recommend, you know, doing that. You can always use more than one garbage can in a room. You put a garbage can anywhere that you know someone will actually be prone to throw garbage. And that's one of my tips in general, not just for guests. Put garbage cans everywhere, and that will help you eliminate, you know, clutter and dirt and, you know, big messes, without even, you know, adding additional time on cleaning and things like that. The next item I want to add is personalization and customization for your guest. So I have a family member, when they come by, they love Fiji water. So I make sure that I have a bottle of Fiji water on the nightstand along with a glass, so that they could feel like they're at home. They can feel as though, wow, she really thought of me. She actually got not only some water, but she got the water that I actually love to drink. So as part of being a great host or hostess is paying attention to your guests' needs. So what I always try to do when someone comes over, if I hear them say, I like this, or I like that, or, you know, this has been uncomfortable for me, I take note. So whenever they come back, I make sure that I can cater to their needs if it's within reason. And I think that's what makes, you know, your home feel homey. You're not doing too much, because if guests come in and they just see a whole bunch of this and a whole bunch of that, they just may get the feeling that you're just trying to show off, or this is a little bit too much. But when someone comes to your home and they feel as though you went out of your way to do something that was specific for them, like picking up the bottle of water that they love, putting a fan on the nightstand because they say, whoo, at night I get really hot. Paying attention to your guests' needs and making sure you cater to those needs is something that they're really going to cherish. And that's what I talk about, making sure that they feel like they're at home, as opposed to feeling like you're in a 5-star hotel. They will definitely remember these, they will definitely remember the extra effort that you took to make them feel welcome in your home. So make sure that you pay attention to, and you can even write down on a little card to keep notes in a notebook about each guest that stays at your home, what their likes are, what their dislikes are, what you need to prepare for the next time should they come to stay with you. And if you want to know a little bit further about, you know, hosting guests and guest needs, I do have a Home for the Holidays Hostess Bootcamp 101 course, and I'll link that course down in the description box below if you want to get more information on, you know, entertaining and hosting. You guys are probably going to laugh at my next tip, but this is a very important tip, and you might not have ever heard of this tip before. But if you know you're going to have out-of-town guests, that's right, pest control and extermination. And you want to do that prior to anyone coming to your home, so that if any critters should enter your home or get attached to someone's luggage, or you are already all set to go. So whenever I know ahead of time that I'm going to either have a large party, a ton of people over, or guests coming to stay over from out of town, because you'd be surprised at how many, when you're putting your luggage on the plane, different types of things that they call hitchhikers, how bugs hitchhike onto your luggage and things like that. And even when I personally come from a trip, like an out-of-town trip, stay in a hotel or anything like that, I make sure that I exterminate everything before I bring it back into the home. Now, I'm OCD when it comes to bugs, but it is a great practice to have, or a tip or a habit to get into. Now, if you don't have your own exterminating equipment, you can also set up with your quarterly pest control. Originally, I used to have my lawn care service and pest control service all together. So quarterly, on a quarterly basis, when the lawn care people came out, the same company did pest control, and they would just spray all around the outside of the home and on the inside of the home, just to keep that routine maintenance and make sure that nothing enters into the home. Now that I have a college daughter, when she leaves and comes back from college, you have no idea who she's been hanging out with, or whose apartment she's been in, and things like that. When you're coming from college and there's so many different people that you've come into contact with, I definitely make sure that I spray down the house internally, so that when anyone comes in, if there should be a problem, I can stop it right in its tracks. And I have some really good stuff. I went to it's called the bug doctor, and they just explained so many things to me and how the extermination system works. That's kind of the reason I got rid of my pest control people. They were telling me how if they really sprayed your home with things that would eradicate the bugs and the pests, they would be out of business. So what they do is spray something that would just have them run away. But then in around about 4 months or so, they'll creep back up, and then they'll be scheduled to come out to your house for pest control, and you think they're the hero because then they go away again and things like that. So I have the real deal Holyfield stuff to just make sure that nothing is going to pop up in my home. So again, make sure that you do extermination prior to anyone coming into your home, so that all of the solutions can take effect and kill off anything before it becomes a problem. Another tip that I have is don't get your floors cleaned or your carpets cleaned or things like that prior to guests or company coming over. I know it sounds counterintuitive. Most of the time we're running around trying to make our house pristine before we have guests come over, but those guests are bringing in, all types of outdoor germs and things like that. Even if you have a no-shoe policy in your home, if you're entertaining 50 folks in your home for the holidays or holiday dinner or some large crowd, everyone is probably not going to take off their shoes right away or follow that rule. And for me, I know that I don't implement the no shoe rule when I have tons of guests in my home. So when you have a lot of people in your home walking around, walking on carpets, a lot of people eating, you're going to get drinks spilled. It's just a part of entertaining. A party is not a party until somebody breaks something or spills something. So your carpets will be... So if you get your carpets cleaned and your floors all pristine and gleaming before guests come over, by the time they leave, your carpets and your floors are looking a mess. You have a ton of germs in your home, and you don't want to have to double pay for that cost, especially if you don't own your own carpet cleaner or anything like that. If you're hiring that out, you're going to have to hire it out twice. So what I suggest is that you just do a good mop over with your mop. Get your floors looking nice if you have hardwood floors or tile. If you have carpets, make sure you just vacuum. And if there are some noticeable spots in areas where guests will actually see that, just go ahead and spot clean those spots. And then once the guests leave, go ahead and get your entire, carpet, get the entire house cleaned up. You can get your carpets washed, you can get the floors done. That will be the perfect time, because now it's just you and your family, you know, back to its normal routine, so everything is sanitized and clean. Now my final tip that I like to share, I think I've shared these with you several times on different types of Hostess gifts that you can give, or inexpensive gifts that you can give. I love, love, love these things. These are plug-in-the-wall warmers, candle warmers, or plug-in-the-wall scent warmers. And what I like about these is that they also can double as a night light. So I like to put these in the guest bedroom. You want to make sure, if you're going to put a scent in here, put something very, very light, because again, you have guests sleeping in there. If it's a strong scent, it may interfere with them. They may have allergies. They may, you know, it may bother them. You don't want anything really, really strong. You want something super light. If you don't want to put the scent wax warmers in here, you can also put essential oils in here as well, and just have a nice, clean, you know, fresh smell in the guest bedroom. But what I also like is the fact that this is a night light, and this is perfect for, let's say, people that are unfamiliar with your home. So if you have an older person staying in your home and they need to go to the bathroom at night, this is perfect, because this will kind of lead them to the bathroom without them having to bump into anything. This is also perfect if you have children staying with you. You have the night light. If they want to get up in the middle of the night, go over to the next room where their parents may be staying, they have a light that they can follow. They can maneuver and move around. And it's also perfect if you are sleeping in a room with a husband and a wife, but someone needs to get up. They don't need to turn on the lamp that's on the nightstand to wake everyone up. So I strongly suggest purchasing these. The ones I purchased from Walmart. It's from the Better Homes and Gardens line, and I have them all throughout my home. So guys, I hope these tips were helpful. Hopefully you can implement some of them, and I would love for you to leave a comment below on what are some of your best tips when you're preparing for out-of-town guests, because I love to share, I love to learn new things, and I'm sure all of the other subscribers would love to hear what you all do so they can implement new tips and tricks as well. And until next time, I'm going to keep calm and carry on. Bye guys.